human rights and social justice. And as Adrian Chang once said, once you realize that trickle-down economics does not work, you will see the excessive tax cuts for the rich as what they are, a simple upward redistribution of income. End all war.
Hello and welcome to Monkey Mind. I am your host, Rob Owen, and this show is dedicated to brain cancer and living in one's moment. I'm a half-mast today, I would say, for a sailing term. I had a little too much champagne and tequila last night for a Plutonic Valentine's, and it was a lot of fun though, a lot of talking, a lot of buzz talking, and I also took my favorite, some shrooms, and that was pretty fun too. But it was a light dose, like the microdosing kind of vibe, no hallucinations. But so it was fun. I got to talk to one of my earliest friends. I came to New Orleans in I'd come here as like a little kid to visit, I guess with my dad or something like that. But then I came here early in high school, and my friend that I went out with, one of my first friends in the city. So we reminisced a bunch. And it's funny how a lot of the stories when you're around your friends, especially you're drinking, a lot of them go back to kind of pain and stuff, like or pseudo pain stuff. Like a lot of this stuff can be kind of negatives and stuff like that, and it's kind of funny. It kind of relates to the name of the show is Monkey Mind, and that is a reference to a Buddhist term for our thinker, basically what most people think of as themselves, which is that voice in their head, their hobbies, stuff like that. And the niche with it, I think, is that because we are aware of that voice and thinker, we can kind of step back and listen to it. It's we're actually more of a core awareness, that awareness that can hear your thoughts and listen to it kind of as a secondary, as like someone else almost talking. That is more the essence of is truly like you, as opposed to the surface area. Kind of a little heavy on a hangover on that, but I think it's a good thing to kind of practice too, because I think we fall into that trap a lot of really just such identifying with our ego. And that, I know ego is kind of a tough term for a lot of people because it means, Freudian and all that kind of stuff. But I think this is more a reference to it as that thinker. That's when I say ego, that's what I'm referring to. Semantics. So much of us argue and disagree over things that we're not even really defining with each other. And that's a lot of issues with that. So it's been kind of great. One of the things my friend brought up to me was for me, I had the brain cancer part. Okay, so the show's about brain cancer. In 2005, I got diagnosed with a GBM, which is a category 4. I'm pretty sure they call it like a category, but it's like brain cancer. So I went through, in the process of that, I went right into like brain surgery. I had headaches before. I didn't know what was going on. I was kind of flipping out. Thought I was just kind of becoming a pretty good dum-dum and like getting, I thought I was getting migraines or something. But it was like the pressure was building up in my skull from the tumor growing. And it had nowhere to go. So it was just like, squeezing my brain. And I didn't work too well on that. It hurt a lot. But then I was trying to get on antidepressants, blah, blah, blah. Went to a bunch of different doctors, and everybody was like, something's really wrong here. And eventually I went and got an MRI and over at Oshner. This was like right after Katrina, sort of, like in ballparky, late 2005. Yeah, they saw the MRI, and then it was like the next couple of days or so. I mean, I'm really bad with dates, and straight off the front, I get some stuff wrong, and we'll go later on in this show. I'll tell you about that. So you gotta really, you gotta do some editing with me, and monitor what I say. I mean, don't just take me at face value. I'm trying here, but I don't remember all the stuff that really happened per se. But I think I'm pretty close. But it's hard to say. I mean, half the people you talk to, it seems like they're blanking out too. But most people, I mean, I guess a lot of people actually don't. I've had some people that use it, my brain issues. Well, you have brain cancer, so you can't, trust your. I was like, well, I don't know about that, but I see what you're saying. It would make sense that would be the case, but that because they removed like a part of my right frontal lobe. That was with the GBM. And then I just kind of started this show pretty much in sync. So it's been like, 14 years, something like that, since my first diagnosis, brain surgery, and treatments. And I did and I'll go into the protocol that I did later on, but I did I did chemotherapies, radiation, surgery, stuff like that, and and we'll talk about why I think later on which what I think really worked, because I think that's kind of important. Duh, right? But I don't know, it's weird. The medical thing is strange. The dynamics, I think, of the financials that's pushed into it. It's a really awkward, I think, balance that it's not really synced out with finding quote, the cure. It's not as profitable finding the cure. And I think it also goes into how our community may be perceived of people that have had GBMs. When I got diagnosed with mine, the life expectancy after diagnosis was 6 months. And the people that I knew around that time period that had a GBM like myself pretty much synced right in with that. And I want to say I kind of was too, up until I did the last chemo. It was looking like I was going right into that sync up. And unfortunately, most brain cancers, the GBM, the 4, I think, is very common. A lot of times the cancer that's in your brain, it really accelerates and gets very, very aggressive. Most of the people that know GBMs and brain cancer are pretty easy that I can function like I can. But yeah, it's been quite a journey on that. And I just recently connected, which I've really been kind of liking, to a Facebook account where it's GBMs into Thrivers or something like that. I mean, to join it, they're really kind of stingy. You have to do a questionnaire or something like that. And I think you have to have either a GBM or say you do, and have a family member that does. And so everybody's sharing treatment protocols and what worked. I want to say the survival rate now, from what I'm hearing, is now like a year, like a touch over a year or something like that, since diagnosis to someone passing away. So 14 years. So via this thing, I think I found something. I need to go backtrack and do it. I get easily distracted. That's one of my things. But yeah, it's a strange process with all that kind of navigating it too. I mean, it's so difficult for so many. Like one of the analogies I was making was that that the yeah, I just lost where I was. I forgot that. Which reminds me, I'll remember this one. So I had this really nice plutonic hangout with my friend last night. We're drinking and talking, and she remembered, like I was saying, I had, like most people don't think I can function this well, but actually, like right after or around when I was getting treated for the brain cancer, I was having real serious functional difficulties, both cognitively and even motor skills, and could not, like I couldn't talk like this. I would say one thing and utterly just my mind would just go blank. I couldn't remember like squat. And I have two girls that are awesome, love them both, and they've been so sweet to me. So just recently, I'll interrupt and say that just recently I got a new kind of spook because I got a MRI and it showed a suspect area over my brain stem. And your brain stem is an area they don't like to go into because it's so, I guess it's so delicate with functionality and so forth. Whereas your right frontal lobe, while it's important, it's not, it's much easier to go in surgically. And so I just got a no-show. Now it's the show's on. What's going on here? Oh, it's now live. I don't know. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm multitasking here. I'm not the greatest at it. So, where was I? I don't know. Guess I was talking about. Oh yeah, my daughter. So I got two girls. We'll go back to that. So I think I drifted away now. I forgot what I was doing. See, that's one of the things I do. I used to do that like 10 times worse. Like I couldn't really walk from one room to the other and remember why I was there, what I was doing. I would have to almost backtrack or carry like a little notebook around with me. And and then what I learned on that is I really started embracing, kind of living in my moment. I was really trying to practice that because I was like, you know, it makes you kind of anxious and, you know, kind of sad too that your brain's all jacked up and you don't function like you used to. So, so that was pretty funky. Oh yeah, going back to my daughter. So my kids were pretty young when I got diagnosed with this, and I want to say, I don't think, maybe my eldest knew a little bit of what was going on, but we didn't really like make a big deal about it. I mean, clearly I was in the hospital, and I guess people were freaked out a little bit around me, but I think people kind of kept it in check. So after my first brain surgery, I went for a second opinion, and the whole family moved. We ended up moving where I got my second opinion at MD Anderson in Houston. And so we had like a little apartment out there while I did radiation. I don't know how long that was. And I added to this other story in a few that, you know, my dad was filling in some of the blanks, and it was pretty interesting. He's pretty knowledgeable he's a doctor, he's a biochemist, and so he's kind of into all the cancer studies and did some stuff way back in the day, which is kind of interesting. And so he kind of helps me navigate through a bunch of it, and is always there like for, you know, moral support. Love my dad. Yeah, I can't imagine vice versa. Going through this with one of my kids, it would be pretty brutal. But I guess you gotta be grateful for your moment, and really kind of embrace that. So much of, you know, life is, I think we just forget about just having gratitude, and I think we're far too. We need to practice less judging. Like the simple stuff I was laughing about on that Facebook account I was telling you about that's on Facebook, it's a GBM group. But like some of the people And I have to like catch myself every now and then, because like some people like are talking about, oh, you know, this is so horrible. I mean, you know, my dog died, my wife's all sick, I had GBM, you know, I'm falling apart, and it's like, so my go-to response is, and it's kind of sucks maybe, but it's like, hey, be grateful, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, it does kind of boil down to that, having gratitude for your moment. But back to the thing. So I couldn't talk, and it was really funny. And my daughter used to have this kind of funny, when she was like my youngest, had this funny little speech. I mean, I guess they both kind of talk silly, because I remember my other daughter yelling at this guy across the street, going, "Hey, Mister, what you doing there?" And she kept talking like that. But my other daughter, the younger one, she would do this thing, because I would keep dropping out on conversations, and I'd forget what I was doing, and she was really cute about it. And so I would like be telling her something, or a story or something, and then I'd stop, and then she'd go, oh, she'd see that I had lost it, and she'd go, "The end." And it was so cute. And then I started bloody doing it as I was just going about my business, and it helped me kind of keep kind of lighthearted about kind of being out of it. And I think just over time, my brain just kind of healed up. They removed a pretty big section of my right frontal lobe. And I had one doctor in between the doctors that I've kind of liked. And I would always say, really try and get yourself around doctors that you like personally, and are good. And you can kind of balance the rock star goodness of their professionalism and you know what they can provide you, and balance that with how much you like them. So there's some navigating there, but most of the time it's such a good thing for you to be around positive, healthy people like that. So yeah, that was a big deal for me. Though I haven't, why did I bring that up? Oh, because the middle doctor, one of the jokes, this other middle doctor that I did not like, and I don't think I don't know what, he didn't catch that this area. But you notice I'm not calling it cancer, because I don't really know 100% what it is, and I don't want to really create that. I'm really kind of into watching my speak and so forth. I like to keep things very kind of positive. And I don't really like to reinforce sicknesses. Like, you more or less talk about the symptom, not really the thing. Like, you don't really create, like, even getting a cold. I'll never typically say I have a cold so much as I mean, unless it's blatantly kind of obvious that I can label it like that. I'll say, you know, I have a runny nose, my throat's sore, and so I try and treat the symptoms or whatever. I won't be like saying, "Oh, I'm sick," because that's like kind of creates it. I think there's a lot to say for us creating our own realities, and reinforcing that in your head all the time is not conducive to just feeling good. I mean, you can make yourself feel pretty bad. I think I read somewhere they were saying that if you put your face in a smile, like just force it, like a completely fake smile, for long enough, you will set off endorphins, and then you'll be happy. Now, how happy, I don't know, but you try it. And one of the things with the monkey mind also relates to is meditation. And I can't say I'm very good at I even did in the city. I did that meditation. I want to say it's even kind of close to where I live now, but I mean, it was kind of funky. I was just trying different things for a while, and anyway, I went to this meditation class, but it was pretty funky because you went into basically this small like typical New Orleans kind of shotgun home that they converted over into like a meditation studio, and one of the things was we sat Indian style, which is all cool. And then you turn face the wall, so you're literally sitting like an Indian or whatever, and then your butt up basically with your knees really close, like just looking at a sheetrock or something. You know what I'm saying? And but yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I'll say that it was definitely interesting. But anyway, back to monkey mind. Is like that original thing was saying to ask, like the Buddhist monk that I heard it from. It's like a YouTube thing. You probably pull it up if you even. And I was like, I remember always telling the story, like, oh, it's this young. He's not that young. He's just kind of a baby-faced man. And but anyway, his thing was, you ask your monkey mind, ask your monkey, am I breathing, or are you breathing? Or am I think it's maybe am I breathing or something. I don't know. I don't know the pronoun on it. But and so basically your thinker, your monkey, then stops to like listen to its breath, or listens to our breath, or I don't know how this works, but to tell you the truth, but and then it calms your mind, and you're just sitting there kind of listening. The thinker is like listening to its breath, and so it shuts up. And it's like your meditation. And then I was like having this epiphany on this few shows back, saying that I was like, oh, okay, I get it, because it's like so much of where you're doing things, you're never doing anything in the future or in the past. You're just doing things right now. That's the only thing you got. That's the only thing you're ever gonna have. You're never gonna do something in the future. You're gonna do it right now. And that is meditation. You're not gonna be I'm gonna meditate for 15 minutes. No, you're going to be meditating in your moment. And that truly is, you know, what the Buddhist was basically, you know, articulating, I think. Like so much of the time we're shooting ourselves into the future about what's going to happen. Like, oh, I'm going to be meditating here, and you can get so wrapped up on you know, the meditation aspect of it. And then that you lose the whole thing, which is why it's difficult. And that's what the Buddhist was saying too. He's like, you know, I struggle with that. I struggle with this monkey mind. It always wants something to do, and it doesn't really care what it is. It can be very harmful stuff, like thinking about things that are just unhelpful. Like prior to me getting diagnosed, I had a very, very bad monkey. So my monkey was trying to take me out, like the host of the body or whatever, and it was just very like 24/7. I mean, I couldn't escape it. It's like if you were having problems, like say with your wife or your job or somebody else, you can kind of get away from, get a little downtime. But when it's in your own head and it's like turned on you, and then it's just like, or even turned on itself. I mean, it was very, very unhealthy. And so for the longest time, and I don't know how true this is, I always thought that I lowered my immune system by having such kind of negative speak. And I had kind of just done some things I wasn't so proud of, and was having, I guess, difficulties on where I thought my life should be and what I thought I should be doing and going, and even who I was with. Yeah, so that was just kind of heavy, and I just didn't handle it too well, and I didn't have some of the skills that I kind of learned. I think I got them now. Yeah, I got them now. I mean, I still get down, and I still get a little ego-y and stuff like that for sure. But I also kind of can step back. Like it takes me, but it's like a thing you practice, and it's the other thing too. It's like I'm always preaching to everybody that'll listen. It's like really about lessening judgment and judging yourself and judging others. Like really trying. And it's so much of this stuff is really easy for me to say, but in actual practicing it, it's another story for sure. But yeah, but it's something to really take at heart and